Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the incredible world of rare coins, astonishing minting mistakes, and unexpected treasures that could be hiding in your loose change. And today we are bringing you one of the most jaw-dropping stories in numismatic history, the tale of a single 1989 1-cent coin, yes, just a penny, which has been valued by expert collectors and auction houses at a mind-blowing $23 million. And the reason behind this astronomical figure lies in a series of stunning mint errors, remarkable historical circumstances, production anomalies, die malfunctions, planchette mix-ups, and extremely rare combinations that all converged in a single coin that now holds legendary status among collectors. So buckle up and stay with us as we uncover every single detail that makes this coin so insanely valuable, because you won't believe how many things went wrong, or right, depending on your perspective, to turn a humble Lincoln cent into one of the most coveted and expensive coins on the planet. And to understand why this 1989 penny is worth more than most homes, sports cars, and even some private jets, we need to first look at the historical context of minting during that year, when the US Mint was undergoing significant technological changes in how coins were produced, transitioning equipment, refining planchette composition, and coping with evolving quality control processes. And it was exactly during this volatile transition that a perfect storm of errors occurred in one very specific cent that would go unnoticed for decades, until one sharp-eyed collector spotted something unusual in the coin's luster, strike depth, and overall design consistency. And upon closer examination, it was confirmed that this penny exhibited multiple simultaneous minting errors that individually might only raise a coin's value slightly, but when all found on one single coin, the result was an explosive combination of numismatic anomalies that have never before or since been seen together, making it an unprecedented specimen and the stuff of coin collector dreams. And to begin with, this 1989 penny was struck on a transitional planchette, meaning it was not struck on the standard copper-plated zinc blank that was introduced in 1982 and used through the late 80s, but instead, due to a rare mix-up at the mint, this penny was struck on a bronze planchette left over from earlier inventory, which should have been long removed from production, and this alone is a major red flag and instantly boosts the coin's rarity significantly, since by 1989, bronze cents were no longer in circulation production, and identifying the wrong planchette alone with proper weight measurements showed that the coin weighed 3.11 grams instead of the expected 2.5 grams. A difference that's impossible to miss if you're experienced in coin analysis. And yet that's just the beginning, because further inspection revealed even more layers of errors, the next being a double die obverse. One of the most famous and sought-after types of mint errors, where the coin was struck more than once in slightly misaligned positions, causing visible doubling in key design features such as the date, the motto "I in God we trust," and liberty. And in this 1989 example, the doubling is so sharp and crisp that it ranks among the clearest ever seen for that year. And unlike common doubling where slight misalignments are barely perceptible under magnification, this coin displays naked eye level doubling that's instantly noticeable. And even more, the doubling is combined with a rotated die clash, where the design elements of the reverse side faintly appear on the obverse due to a striking error between improperly aligned dies, making the coin appear ghosted with partial reverse features on the front, something that's not only fascinating but extremely rare and prized in the collector market. And when you think it can't get any crazier, the reverse side has its own catalog of mistakes, starting with off-center striking, where the entire design is pushed significantly toward the edge, leaving part of the coin blank and distorting the centering of the memorial building. And this is not just a minor off-center strike, it's approximately 15 to 20% off, a magnitude high enough to be visually dramatic but low enough to preserve key identifiers such as the denomination and mint year. And on top of that, the reverse side exhibits a die crack that runs from the roof of the Lincoln Memorial down through the base, forming what some collectors poetically call the lightning bolt crack. And the crack is raised and visible and intersects with additional die chips, forming what numismatists refer to as cuds, which are blobs of metal that result from chunks missing from the die. And there's also evidence of a striking anomaly known as a bubbled planchet, where gas or contamination under the plating causes a raised, bubble-like distortion on the coin's surface, and all these elements stack to create a coin with not just one or two errors, but an entire symphony of minting mishaps that somehow all appeared on the same cent, making it a physical impossibility in the eyes of many experts. And yet, here it is, authenticated, certified, and valued at over $23 million because of the once-in-a-century set of circumstances that allowed this error coin to exist. And beyond the errors, the coin's condition is virtually flawless, graded MS69 by leading grading services, making it nearly perfect in terms of strike quality, luster, and preservation, which is nearly unheard of for a coin with this many striking issues. And what's more fascinating is how this penny managed to survive circulation without being damaged, worn, or tossed aside as just another flawed cent. Instead, it was preserved, perhaps by chance or by someone who intuitively sensed its importance, and only decades later did its true value come to light. And that's not all, because there are rumors in the numismatic underground that this may be one of only two such pennies in existence, the other yet to be found. And this alone is enough to ignite a global treasure hunt among collectors, dealers, and everyday people checking their spare change, because the odds of such a coin escaping the mint, surviving undetected, and ending up in someone's possession are astronomically low. Yet it happened, and it opens the door to the possibility that others may be out there, hidden in jars, drawers, or forgotten boxes of old coins, waiting to be discovered and appraised. And the implications are huge because it's not just about this one coin being valuable, it's about what it represents. The chance for an ordinary object to defy all expectations and become an extraordinary artifact of minting history. And experts from the American Numismatic Association and other institutions have examined this coin and unanimously confirmed its authenticity and uniqueness, noting that never before has a coin with this specific combination of planchet error, double die obverse, rotated die clash, off-center strike, die crack, cud formation, bubbled plating, and pristine mint state condition ever been seen together. And when this coin was finally auctioned, the bidding war was fierce, with collectors from around the world, Japan, Germany, the UK, the US, Canada, and even private investors from the Middle East, driving the price higher and higher until it finally closed at $23 million to a private buyer whose identity remains undisclosed. And since then, the legend of the 1989-era penny has grown, sparking interest even among those who previously knew nothing about coin collecting, because the idea that such a tiny, unassuming coin could be worth tens of millions of dollars has universal appeal and captures the imagination of anyone who's ever held a penny in their hand and wondered if maybe, just maybe, theirs could be special too. And so we tell you now, check your change. Inspect your penny jars, revisit your childhood coin collections, because this is a real story with real value, and the next incredible find could be out there right now, waiting to be recognized. And that's the magic of numismatics, where history, error, chance, and human curiosity come together to turn a 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar legend that will be talked about for generations to come. Because the 1989 1-cent error coin is not just valuable, it's a modern-day relic, a tangible mistake turned miracle, and a shining example of how something small can become something truly monumental. So don't overlook your loose change, because the next life-changing discovery might be hiding in plain sight, right under your nose. Next 2003 1-cent USA coin, where we explore the fascinating world of coin collecting, rare mint errors, and the surprising value that can hide in the most ordinary-looking coins. And in today's episode, we are diving into the jaw-dropping and almost unbelievable story of a 2003 1-cent coin that has been valued at a staggering $45 million due to a series of extraordinary minting mistakes, die anomalies, planchette irregularities, and unique historical factors that all came together in a single moment of minting chaos to create one of the most valuable and mysterious coins ever discovered in modern American numismatics. And as always, this story begins with what seems like an ordinary penny, a 2003 Lincoln Memorial cent, the kind you'd expect to find rolling around in the bottom of your drawer, wedged between couch cushions, or slipping through a vending machine coin return slot. But what lies beneath its surface is a tale so intricate and filled with numismatic intrigue that it has stunned the coin-collecting community worldwide, sparked fierce bidding wars, and captured the imagination of even casual observers who never gave a second thought to the humble penny. And to truly appreciate why this coin has reached an astronomical $45 million valuation, we have to go deep into the world of minting processes, error classification, and historical context, beginning with the fact that in 2003, the US Mint was undergoing massive technological recalibrations and die maintenance upgrades, which in rare circumstances introduced conditions ripe for producing significant mint errors. And this one particular coin appears to have experienced not just one or two issues, but an entire cascade of minting blunders, starting with the rarest known transitional planchette error for that year, where instead of being struck on the normal copper-plated zinc planchette weighing 2.5 grams, this coin was inexplicably struck on a pure copper planchette left over from pre-1982 stock. But the story doesn't end there, because metallurgical analysis also revealed trace amounts of silver in the composition, leading experts to theorize that the planchette may have been contaminated or accidentally created from a hybrid alloy batch that was never intended to be used for US cents, giving this coin a unique reddish-silver sheen that is unlike anything seen in 21st century minting and distinguishable even without magnification. And further adding to the intrigue is the fact that this coin was struck with misaligned dies, a mechanical malfunction that caused the obverse and reverse to be off-centered from each other by about 25 degrees, making it appear as if Lincoln is staring out of frame and the Lincoln Memorial on the back is awkwardly tilted, which alone would be enough to significantly boost the coin's collectability and value. But there's more, because closer inspection by leading numismatists revealed that the obverse die had suffered from extreme fatigue, resulting in severe doubling not only in the date but also in the inscriptions "Liberty" and "Iron God We Trust," making it one of the most prominent double die obverse errors ever recorded for the Lincoln cent series. And this doubling is so defined and crisp that it's visible with the naked eye, particularly on the tops of the letters and numbers where shadow-like impressions trail each original strike, and on the reverse, a massive die clash is visible where the ghost of Lincoln's profile appears faintly in the fields around the memorial building due to the dies striking each other without a planchette in between during a misfeed. And to compound the error profile, there is a dramatic off-center strike of nearly 30%, leaving a crescent-shaped blank edge along one side of the coin and compressing the design elements into the remaining space, giving the coin a warped yet symmetrical appearance that is incredibly visually striking. And then there are the die breaks, massive die cracks running diagonally across the obverse from Lincoln's forehead down through the rim, accompanied by raised metal lumps called cuds where pieces of the die actually broke off during the striking process, making the coin look as if molten metal bubbled out from certain points. And as if that wasn't enough, the coin also features a known but extremely rare variation of the AM in America on the reverse side, where the letters are abnormally spaced in what's known as the wide AM variety, a design that was not supposed to appear on 2003 cents, and which by itself is rare and collectible, but in conjunction with all the other errors on this coin only further enhances its mystique and astronomical value. And then comes perhaps the most confounding and unexplainable element of all: under ultraviolet light, this penny reveals patterns of luminescent streaking that numismatic metallurgists say may be due to chemical residue from a cleaning agent used only during a specific maintenance run at one mint facility, possibly Philadelphia, which adds a forensic layer of historical tracing to the coin's origins and further suggests that this penny is truly one of a kind. And beyond all these physical anomalies, What makes this coin so legendary is its provenance. Having been originally discovered not by a seasoned numismatist but by a teenager in Tennessee who was sorting through his grandfather's old coin jar and noticed that the penny looked a bit weird. And after months of online forum discussions and eventually sending it in for grading and authentication, it was confirmed by PCGS as a genuine mint-era coin of unprecedented complexity, receiving a one-of-a-kind designation and a mint state 68 grade, making it one of the highest-graded known mint-era pennies with this many simultaneous anomalies, and once word got out, the coin became the focus of intense interest, with major auction houses placing early estimates in the millions, but the final auction was nothing short of historic, with collectors from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East all placing competitive bids and a final hammer price of $45 million being confirmed by the anonymous buyer who is believed to be a private collector with holdings in several multi-million-dollar era coins, and since then, the 2003 $45 million penny has become an icon, the holy grail of modern mint-era collecting, and the centerpiece of numismatic lectures, documentaries, and museum tours, because what this coin represents is more than just a production mistake, it's a perfect storm of historical context, mechanical failure, human oversight, and preservation that somehow resulted in a pocket-sized artifact now valued more than rare paintings, luxury yachts, and even historic mansions, and this story has inspired a new generation of collectors who now scour their pocket change, coin rolls, and family collections in hopes of uncovering the next multi-million-dollar mistake, because the existence of this coin proves that such miracles do happen, and they often do. So quietly, in the most mundane places, waiting for someone to notice a slight shimmer, a misaligned design, or a double date, and suddenly what was once thought to be worth 1 cent becomes the stuff of legends. And what's perhaps most fascinating of all is that many experts believe this might not be the only such coin out there. There are whispers in collector circles about another similar penny surfacing in the Pacific Northwest, though no visual confirmation has yet been made public, and if this is true, then the value of the original coin might even increase, not decrease, as collectors rush to form matched-era sets. And there is growing discussion about establishing a new classification within mint-era taxonomy just to account for coins like this which defy standard cataloging practices due to the sheer number and uniqueness of errors involved. And with all this in mind, one can't help but be amazed at how such value and historical complexity can be wrapped up in something so small and ordinary as a penny, and so we urge you to stay curious, keep checking your coins, pay attention to the details that others overlook, because sometimes the world hides its most incredible stories in the most unexpected places, and that's the magic of coin collecting, where history, art, science, and luck intersect in a way that allows for even the smallest things to make the biggest impact. So until next time, keep hunting, because the next legendary discovery might be just a cent away. Last 1984 1-cent USA coin. Today we are diving into an absolutely astounding discovery that has sent shockwaves through the entire coin collecting world. A 1984 1-cent coin. Yes, just a humble Lincoln penny. That has been authenticated and valued at an unbelievable $34 million because of a series of extreme, rare, and technically impossible minting errors and historical circumstances that converged in one miraculous moment at the United States Mint, creating a coin that stands as one of the most valuable pieces of copper ever produced. And what's even more thrilling is that this particular coin was not discovered in a museum or a government archive, but rather it was found in a forgotten envelope tucked inside a vintage coin album at an estate sale, where the buyer, an amateur collector, initially thought it was just another old cent until he noticed something unusual about Lincoln's profile under a magnifying glass, and from there the coin's story began to unfold, a tale of impossible errors stacked upon each other, forensic discoveries, expert analysis, auction house battles, and one of the most outrageous final sale prices in the history of era coin collecting. And to truly understand how a 1984 penny can become a $34 million artifact, we need to dissect every layer of the numismatic mystery it presents, starting with one of the most famous errors in Lincoln cent history, the 1984 doubled ear variety, a dramatic double die obverse error where Abraham Lincoln's earlobe appears doubled due to a misalignment in the die engraving process, and this doubling is so sharp, pronounced, and obvious that it can be seen with the naked eye and is one of the most iconic and popular errors among collectors. But the coin in our story does not stop at a doubled ear. In fact, that is just the beginning, because this coin exhibits multiple die-related errors on both the obverse and reverse, starting with an extremely strong doubled die obverse not just on the ear but also extending to the date, the motto "I in God we trust," and the word liberty, making this coin an extraordinary example of multiple doubling on a single die face. And the doubling is so crisp and perfectly aligned that experts have compared it to famous doubled die coins like the 1955 and 1972 cents, placing it in the same legendary category. But what sets this coin apart is the discovery that the doubling occurred on a planchette that was never intended to be used for the Lincoln cent in 1984, as metallurgical testing later revealed that this penny was not struck on the standard copper-coated zinc planchette introduced in 1982, nor on the earlier pure copper planchets, but instead on a bronze alloy planchette containing trace elements of tin and antimony that match the composition used in foreign coins being produced for other countries by the US Mint during that time period, which has led to the theory that a blank intended for a foreign coin somehow made its way into the Lincoln cent production line, resulting in what is now known as a wrong planchette error. And even more fascinating is that the weight of this particular coin does not match any official specifications for cents or foreign coins, coming in at an unusual 3.08 grams, a strong indicator that the planchette was not only misplaced but may have been cut from a transitional sheet of mixed alloy metals, making this coin absolutely unique in material composition. And it doesn't stop there, because the strike itself was misaligned, with the coin being struck approximately 12% off-center, causing the design to be pushed toward one edge of the coin and leaving a crescent-shaped blank area on the opposite side, which normally would degrade the coin's eye appeal but in this case contributes to its notoriety. And adding to the errors is a severe die clash where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchette in between, transferring ghost images of the Lincoln Memorial columns onto Lincoln's profile and vice versa, making it one of the clearest and most dramatic die clash errors ever recorded. And if that weren't enough, the reverse also contains a filled die error in the word United, where the letters are partially obscured due to debris or grease in the die cavity, creating the appearance of a misspelled or incomplete inscription. And then there's a massive die crack running vertically through the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, splitting the structure in two like a lightning bolt and producing a raised ridge of metal that glints under light and immediately draws attention to the error. And upon microscopic inspection, the coin also displays blistering in the copper plating, suggesting the planchette may have had surface contamination prior to striking, which is incredibly rare and adds to the overall uniqueness. And finally, there are subtle rim cuts, which are raised areas where the edge of the die had broken away during striking, leaving extra metal that looks like tiny blobs along the rim, which, combined with the misaligned strike, give the coin an uneven and distorted shape that is instantly recognizable to experienced collectors. And all of these factors taken together, wrong planchette, multiple die doubling, off-center strike, die clash, filled die crack, plating blister, rim cuts, create a perfect storm of minting mayhem that has never before been seen in a single Lincoln cent. And when the coin was submitted to PCGS for grading, the experts were stunned not only by the number of errors but also by the coin's preservation, grading it MS68 red, an almost perfect grade for a coin of this era and especially for one with so many production anomalies. And once the coin's authenticity and error profile were confirmed, it was put up for private auction where a bidding war broke out among several high-end collectors, including representatives of coin museums, private investors, and international buyers, with the final winning bid coming in at $34 million, setting a record for any Lincoln cent ever sold and placing this coin in the pantheon of legendary eras alongside the 1933 double eagle and the 1794 flowing hair dollar. And since then, the coin has become a cultural icon in the numismatic world, inspiring articles, research papers, videos, and even classroom lessons in minting history and era classification. And what makes this coin's story even more compelling is the mystery surrounding how so many errors could have occurred on a single coin, with some experts speculating that the coin was produced during a chaotic shift change or a machinery test run where quality control was momentarily suspended, and others believing it may have been the product of intentional mint tampering, though there is no definitive evidence of that, and still others wonder if more coins from that same batch may be out there, undiscovered in old rolls, jars, or collections, waiting to surface and rewrite the record books once again, which is why this story has sparked a renewed interest in 1984 pennies and a worldwide treasure hunt among collectors who now inspect every cent from that year under magnification and scales in hopes of finding the next $1 million mistake. And what this story teaches us is that era coins are more than just accidents. They are historical artifacts that capture the exact moment something went wrong in a highly controlled and mechanized process, and when multiple errors layer upon one another, especially in a well-preserved condition, the result can be something far greater than the sum of its parts, something that transforms a single cent into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. And in the case of this 1984 penny, we are not just looking at a valuable coin, we are looking at a perfect example of how chaos, timing, and chance can produce an object so unique, so rare, and so historically significant that its value becomes nearly incalculable. And so if you're out there watching this right now with a coin jar nearby, or if you've inherited a collection from a parent or grandparent, or if you've ever looked at a penny and thought it looked a little off, don't ignore it. Take a closer look, weigh it, examine the details, because the next life-changing discovery could be sitting right under your nose. And the story of the $34 million 1984 Lincoln cent proves that you don't need to dig for gold or chase crypto to strike it rich. Sometimes all it takes is a little curiosity, a sharp eye, and a whole lot of luck. So stay tuned, keep collecting, and never underestimate the power of a single penny to change your life forever.